right, thank you. This is the June meeting of the Wyoming Board of Education. We've actually already begun our meeting. We were in executive session, so we are down to recognition of the public, and I believe we have none. So would you like Mr. Weber to introduce?
Yeah, can we jump down? Should we jump down to?
Do you want to do it in some kind of order or do it right now under recognition of the public?
Let's do, if I can, I'm very excited to jump to, a recommendation for a new personnel. And we have a special guest with us, today here in the room. And, I'll give you a little bit of background. So as you know, we've been really in this great search for our new assistant principal in high school. And through many conversations, I am excited to recommend Sarah McMullen, who's with us tonight, and Sarah's with her family. And I have shared with this team, but just to share with everyone in the room a little bit about Sarah's background, which we thought was just so powerful and rich. 13 years, I think I'm right, 13 years as a high school English teacher, a district literacy coach for 4 years, that's K-12, working with the entire staff on literacy and how to promote literacy within the school district. And then most recently, 2 years as an assistant principal, all of this great work done within the Northwest School District. And just a few comments from our interview committee. I have not shared this with you, so this will be new to you. Incredible assistant principal experience, excellent classroom experience, intentionally present during all conversations, which I thought was great. Willing to have tough conversations, data-driven, restorative disciplinary practices, a desire to engage with classrooms and to engage with teachers, an incredible coaching experience, prioritizes consistency across the building to support students, focuses on putting systems in place for students and for staff benefit, an incredible communicator, and a wealth of understanding of building culture and building belonging for students. Again, I had to stop. That's just a portion of the incredible comments. We are so excited to have you join our high school team and our district team, really, to think about how we can, we've talked a lot about our strategic plan, zero in on teaching and learning and build this awesome culture for kids and for staff where everybody can thrive. And we think that that's what you'll do for us. And we're excited to have you be part of the team.
Thank you so much. So much.
So that's a recommendation.
Oh, we're going in order.
Or we're going in order. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right. So you might want to stick around then. Yes, you are.
I'm allowed to offer, if you would like to say something, please do. And
I would like to just, I didn't prepare anything,
No, that's
but I
fine.
absolutely
Absolutely.
appreciate the opportunity from the beginning. My first impression of your district, of your teachers, of your administrative staff that I've been able to meet has been laser focused on that student perspective and growing. And the thing that has really struck me and is very attractive about your district is that although you are a very high performing district, you're not ready to settle. You want to take each student to the next level. And I'm really excited to be working with Michael to get to know him and to bring a little bit of our flair to this environment and also to learn. So thank you very much.
well, thank you. And you're very welcome here. We're small but mighty.
That's right. That's right.
That's kind of the way this works here. All right, thank you. I'm going to quickly go through board reports because the Finance Committee does not meet in the summer. And the Citizens Advisory Committee and the Belonging Committee have not met, but remember the applications are due July 31st. So I remind my board members, colleagues, to please be calling people and getting people to be signing up for one or both. No, one committee, apply for one committee.
Right.
Because we don't want to know both. Because we would like a nice pool of applicants when we narrow down our focus to our committees. Just for the new administrators, the Citizens Advisory Committee is made up of members of this community, members of our staff, 2 board members, and they take on research topics that are helpful to us. Sometimes they are ones we put right to use. We had, and other times it's good information that finds its way eventually into some project that we take on. This last time, we talked about, artificial intelligence was one of the groups, and of course, that's gonna be a big focus this year. We had another group that talked about the dining experience, because we do outsource our food, our kitchens, and, how can we do better? And that was an interesting conversation. And the third one is totally out of my head.
It's the student internships.
Student internships, which is another, which you in the high school will find is something that we are also exploring and looking into. So, that's what they do. The belonging committee, would you want to give a quick rundown of what the belonging committee does? My friends?
Well, we've got a group of teachers, staff members, and parents, citizens, who gather once a month and explore opportunities for bringing our community closer together, understanding different perspectives, different experiences, different identities. And it's a very robust, healthy exchange environment that we start in our monthly meetings, and it's designed to branch out and become part of the larger school community within the classrooms and within the hallways. So it's been a great experience.
And again, thank you. Those applications are due July 31st. And then as soon as that date comes, we'll pull teams together and begin those rich conversations. Looking
All right,
forward to it.
thank you. Community engagement, anyone want to add in?
Week and a half ago, it was June 14th, was our Juneteenth celebration. Great time, great weather, great music, poetry, a lot of just great, wonderful food, great opportunity. Shout out to our very own Elia Thomas, who introduced Michael Voinovich and Erica Simmons to the community as a part of that ceremony, and so they got quite the grand reception. So
Were you the
kudos.
MC again? Or-
Unplanned sort of opportunity. They were both there for the entire time, so it was just an opportunity for folks to get to connect with them. So it was great.
Oh,
Off the
that's
agenda.
awesome.
It was very meaningful. Off the agenda.
Yeah, it was good for the community.
That's
That's great.
have that experience.
There are summer programs scheduled, I think at least once a week down in our village green area. And so lots of things. I went to touch a truck last week. Yeah, shows you what crowd I hang with.
Have a truck right outside the parking lot. You're welcome to clean a tire.
Oh, yeah. The grandsons, and you were allowed to put your head in the vacuum thing that scoops up the leaves and then get on the fire truck. Oh, my goodness.
Fabulous.
Fabulous things to do. The facilities committee, you have had a meeting.
Yeah, we actually had a rather long meeting today, very productive, with Mike Richley, the architect, and, have kind of put in place a tentative timeline of when we might like to present some conceptual ideas of how the three buildings might look. And, I think our plan is to get the, steering committee together in kind of, I'll say
Yeah.
late August. I don't want to say a specific
Right,
date
we're not
yet.
set.
We're not quite set yet, but August, then kind of early September for the community forum number 4.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yes.
obviously we'll present things at board meetings as well.
Yeah, so soon, as soon as we can, we'll be getting those dates out, because those are the two next big steps, bringing the steering committee together, which has done an exceptional job, and then identifying that date for the community forum. We know we want to make sure that we're getting information out to our entire community on what that could be, and excited about doing that.
Thank you. Planning and goal setting did not meet as a formal board committee, but you were going to report to us on the BLT retreats.
Yeah, I was, just wanted to say thank you to all of our BLT members. As you know, what we've done is we've created this rhythm, soon after the year is out, to have what we call BLT retreat, Building Leadership Team Retreat. in the morning, they present, each building leadership team presents to the board the work that they've done during the school year, and those are so, powerful, those conversations when, as each of our buildings reflect on the important work to support students academically, socially, emotionally. And so thanks to our teams for doing that. After that, we shifted gears, and we had some professional learning, and that was provided by Focus 3. We have partnered with Focus 3 when we talked about our culture blueprint, when we talked about R Factor, and the topic was leadership. And we're really looking at leadership with this upcoming year. And specifically, we talked about what Focus 3 calls relentless leadership. And two big pieces of relentless leadership are building trust and achieving results. And so how do we lead in a way that builds trust within teams and focuses on results? And we've talked more and more about results, and I'm excited to continue that conversation. And so that day was spent on building the capacity of our leaders. So a great focus for what we'll see more and more as we start the school year.
All right, thank you. Policy review committee did not meet, but we are going to talk about some policies. And then student achievement did not meet, but the scores are out, some of the scores.
Yeah, so families have
Cool.
received, we've connected families with Ohio State test data. Right now, building and district data is preliminary, and so that will be finalized usually it's late summer in the first or second month of the school year. So we're ready for that time to come, and we'll have lots of data conversations. So I'll bring that information here to the board as we review all of that data. But really the biggest step right now is that individual students have received Ohio State test data.
And that's probably, the school year will begin when you make that presentation to us.
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
Will the AP numbers be in at that point?
I need to check the time.
Second
I'm not
week of
sure the
July.
time. Do you know the time? Mike?
Yeah, they are in the first, or second week in July,
Okay, all right.
depending on the last minute.
Yep. So by that time that we're having the conversation here, yes.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Board of Education report. We have a calendar, second read.
Yeah, it's the 25-26 district calendar. So excited to make a recommendation for this. Just hitting some of the highlights. This is a more typical calendar that we have appreciated in the past. I'll say that. We're looking at an August 13th start date for students. That's middle of the week. We're looking at a winter break from December 20th through January 5th. School would resume on Tuesday, January 6th. We've heard from our staff that the day after winter break to have a professional development day to make sure that we are prepared for students and can continue our own learning is a valuable time. And then as we shift to the end of the year, we would be looking at a final date of May 28th, Thursday, May 28th, which is the last day for students. And at this time right now, our spring break in this calendar is listed as March 23rd to March 27th.
All right, thank you. Want to keep going?
Yeah, just, this is the textbook adoption. Last month, we had two great presentations from the middle school and the high school. And they shared the resources that they were making a recommendation to adopt. And this is for high school, middle school social studies textbooks. And we appreciate the two leaders who shared that information. And so those are being recommended for approval. And then we have bylaws, which are part of our policies that we have discussed in the past. Yep, and you should have a copy of the changes that have been made. And again, as you recall, we have taken time over parts of monthly meetings, usually in planning meetings, just to talk about these bylaws, which set the stage for the work of the board. And some minor adjustments have been made. If you want to share.
Go through them super fast.
Yeah.
Got it.
Since we started doing this work in February, started reviewing each of them, so these are just the ones that we made changes to, so we'll just go through the rest. The first one is affiliation. The original, the one that was bylaw in action was in violation with a policy that had been updated in 2012 or 13. So we just decided to align affiliation with the policy that talked about how we appoint
are designated for yolks. So that it's now in alignment with the policy. The next one is the board planning model, and this talks about the strategic plan. And there was a, just an odd sentence in the middle there that no one really could make heads or tails of. So we
threw
deleted
it
it. The next one is about, ethics, and I think that we just added in the first section, item F, delegate authority for the administration of the schools to the superintendent. We added superintendent treasurer, so we added treasurer there. And then the second section, E and F, strive sincerely to build better relationships with one another, with the superintendent and treasurer, and set clear goals for the superintendent and treasurer. So most of these are just very minor technical changes, if you remember.
Correct.
So now we're on to public expression of members, and we just changed that top line item where it says the board president or designee, if appropriate, as designated by the board president, because Jeannie, I know sometimes you do delegate a response to a different board member, so we wanted to make sure that our bylaws reflected that practice.
Correct.
Motions, a couple changes in motions. Item B is just outdated. We don't have to designate a newspaper. There was a subsequent law change that identified a newspaper of general circulation within the district, so we no longer need item B. Item E is the same way. There's been a subsequent law adoption that says that we charge a reasonable fee, so we don't need to do that in item E. And then item I, securing a performance bond for the superintendent and treasurer. We don't do that at the organizational meeting. There's been, again, a law change that identifies the process for a bond. It aligns with my employment contract. It doesn't happen at the organizational meeting. So just again, kind of cleaning up those things. Committees, again, just changing a few words here to align with our practice. Members aren't appointed by the president. We do take board action to appoint to the committees, board committees. And then the board shall appoint, we were doing that in the August meeting, and we were running committees then through the school year. So that's been a good practice for us. Notices of meetings, item A, schedule and time and place is posted on the website. We're no longer required to post it in a newspaper of general circulation, so we don't have to put those in there. The next one is regular meetings. This says that we don't have to mail the agendas to you anymore. So we're just going to deliver them. And then, so again, just two technical changes, and on the agenda, we don't have a list of invoices. We've never done that. So we just clean that
And
up.
the understanding is they can be delivered electronically.
Yes, we didn't specify that, but it does say delivered.
Yes.
Yes. Minutes, the treasurer shall provide each board member with a copy of the minutes to be considered, so you'll get those. The idea there is you get them at least 2 days, so you get them with the agenda. So we get those to you on Thursday. And then, also just again, a note that, we approve the minutes at the next succeeding regular meeting. We don't approve minutes at the planning meetings. And then last is public participation at board meetings, item B. Just wanted to note there that, to include parent of a current Wyoming student. So that used to say that you, in order to participate, you had to be a Wyoming resident, employee, or district business owner, but we wanted to make sure parents of current Wyoming students in the event that there's a family dynamic, that somebody doesn't live in the district. One parent does.
All right, thank you. That, since we made these changes ourselves in the process, we're gonna leave this on as a second read approval tonight. So may I have a motion to approve the Board of Education report?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Mrs. Aller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick? Yes. Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report.
Thanks, Jeannie. Item A, approval of the minutes from the meetings listed below, the May 20th regular meeting, the May 29th special meeting, the June 4th planning meeting, and the June 7th special meeting. Approve the statement of revenues and expenditures for month ending May 31st. Final appropriations for June. We are knocking on June 30th. Feels really good. And then to kick off the year, once we close next week, temporary appropriations for fiscal year 25. Item E, approval of the report, please.
May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's
Second.
roll call?
Mrs. Aller?
Yes.
Mrs. Broderick? Yes. Mr. Feldmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Several personnel items. First one is a recommendation to approve a resignation that is coming to the district. And number two, we've been waiting for this, family was waiting for this, is a recommendation to approve the administrative contract for Sarah McMullen. Again, very excited about Sarah's opportunity to impact high school students, family, staff, but really everyone within the district. And so excited about that recommendation. And number three is a recommendation to approve transition days, for Sarah to begin her work, specifically partnering with Mr. Voinovich and, getting set up for success at the high school. And again, that is, up to 5 days, to happen, before the August 1st timeframe. Number 4 is a recommendation, you'll see, to approve these 5 staff members, new staff members, and you can see in the agenda their positions within the district. Again, we talked about impact, and we're excited about the opportunity that they will have to serve students in all of those different capacities.
Some very positive, statements in the summary you give us on each one of these.
Yeah, very
Some of them
excited.
have done some good, really cool things.
Yes, yep. Number 5 is recommendation to approve these athletic supplemental contracts. Number 6 is recommendation to approve AP testing work. And that took place on May 17th. Number 7 is recommendation to approve pay to these individuals who participated in crisis prevention intervention training. What we often say is CPI training. And then several other items here. So you can see items B through F is recommendation to approve these agreements. These are through Hamilton County, well, they're through different organizations, and they're all for student support, for students who have specific identified needs for support. Item G, recommendation to approve this annual contract with HCC, which is the Hamilton Claremont Cooperative, and that's for technology and database services that are provided to the district. Item H is a recommendation to approve an instructional coach for 2 days a week through Forward Edge. We are continuing that coaching model. And specifically, you spoke about artificial intelligence and the CAC study that was done. We're excited for that coach to be connecting with the district on how to effectively use and ethically use artificial intelligence within the educational process. Item I is recommendation to approve the cybersecurity agreement, again, with Forward Edge to protect from cybersecurity threats. Item J is a recommendation to approve this lease agreement with Woodhall, who's been a great provider for our copier and printer services. Item K is a recommendation to continue the agreement with the Perfection Group, which supports our facilities. And you can see item L there is a recommendation to approve several camps. And so within this group, we've got application boot camp, which our students speak so highly about. And then other engagement opportunities include girls tennis camp, youth cheer camp, all important summertime camps for our students.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to bring to the attention of F, H, I, J, and K, the fact that you, Ms. Johnson did some great work to get us low prices to look at what other people had, what other people might have, and then go with the better deal. I'm especially fond of the copier one, because I swear it says in there that we can now copy 500,000 copies. If something is in the contract.
I think we're most excited about the primary having color. That's what we're excited about.
How about a reduced cost?
And a reduced
And
cost.
all at a
Yeah,
reduced
kind of skipped
cost,
over
yeah.
that.
That's right.
I appreciate that the
And all
work
new
you
equipment.
did and the people that you have helped, you, Scott
Yes.
Towers, and, to get it to the best that we can. We do a lot of things. I mean, this is over $500,000 worth of choices we're making here. But in our small district, it is great to be able to reach out and get the price and not have to carry some of those repair costs ourselves. All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the superintendent's report?
So
Second, may I have a, roll call?
Mrs. Broderick?
Yes.
Mr. Bellmeyer?
yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoller?
Yes.
That was
I'm always.
Yeah, I can second.
I'm always thinking she's like asking.
I know.
Yeah, it's a start, and it's really cold in here, you might wanna just keep that blanket. Before you have meetings in here, I do
And
like.
so, Sarah, it's always cold in here,
Okay.
no matter what, and then somebody
Older, it's an oven.
fixes it, and it gets really hot. So just so you know.
It's a great place to work.
My well-being.
That's right. When the years were held in this.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Congratulations.
information.
Very
Appreciate it.
excited.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. We have a superintendent's report that includes a blue sheet.
Yes, okay, so, in the second, report, just two, with the blue sheet, two personnel items. One is a recommendation to approve CPI training, and then number two is a recommendation to approve, an additional resignation that's come in. And that's it for the superintendent's report.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the second superintendent's report? May I have a second? May I have a roll call?
Mr. Bellmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Zoller,
Abstain?
Mrs. Roder.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. We're ready for a superintendent's update. Or no,
One,
first we have another update, sorry.
yep, one other item, and Dr. Wertzler is here. I'm going to ask if you're okay to share just a little bit of background on this. There's an update, that, Dr. Wertzler can share, the nuts and bolts of. It's the disadvantaged pupil impact aid and student wellness and success funds. So if you want to just give a highlight on where those funds come from and how we utilize those funds, it would be very helpful. Thank you.
These are, actually, they're not new funds to us, they're just reallocated funds from our general, funds that we received, in different capacity in the past. But new this year, we were, required to use those in a way that provided, a focus on student wellness. And, what we have elected to do is, utilize those funds to provide, direct support for students, in our preschool through 12+ setting, through the use of our psychologists. And really trying to focus that support around the whole child in our focus on mental health and, behavioral supports. And one of the pieces that this, requirement included through that, pupil impact aid and student wellness was, the reporting to you as a board, how we utilize those funds. And then, ways in which we looked at those funding, measures to determine if they were impactful. And so one of the pieces that we noted, as we looked at the levels of support needed for students was around, those behavioral supports and readiness to learn, and, having ongoing conversations with our, building level administrators, and, making sure that we're providing that ongoing kind of universal target for students, where they are when they're ready to come in. And you've heard Mr. Weber talk a lot about, our PBIS system, our positive behavior support systems, and the impact of our school counselors, our school, psychologists in that, and wanting to make sure that you were aware of this piece of that. And then as we move forward, those ongoing conversations that we're having as a district around what additional measures, what might we need to bring forward and bring to your attention, what ongoing training might we need, to make sure that we're leveraging all of those pieces to make sure that students are learning and growing, not just academically, but are ready to learn and having that support as they're coming into school. So those are kind of the pieces that we're looking at as we're moving forward. And sometimes I think we forget about our little preschool friends because we don't have a preschool, so.
Well, we
those are
just
lots of those
approved that.
conversations. Yeah.
Or
And they
so-
kind of grow.
We're on our
together,
way.
Right? So any questions, about that?
So behavioral support services for the school psychologists is like professional development? When,
Not just professional development to our psychologists, but how they're also supporting, teams of teachers. Specifically, as we think about our preschool to grade 5 psychologists and the different ways in which we're looking at intervention for students as they're coming into school post-COVID. And just looking at ways to, think about play-based supports for kindergarten, first grade students, to make sure they are ready to know how to do school and that changing dynamic.
like social skills, not, yeah, behavior encompassing all of it.
And is there, hate to ask this, financial support coming to us from.
Tracy, I think, if I may.
Yes.
Tracy, started this by saying these aren't new funds.
Right,
You remember that, like, part of the,
Right.
the new fair school funding model that
Right.
is not fair, and we don't get any new money in that one.
Yeah, yeah, we know that one.
You know, even if you looked at our financial statements, it used to just be state funding. Now it is unrestricted, and there's a little line that says restricted. This is the restricted line. So
Okay.
we have to use it for their specified things. And then new this year is a formal report to the board that we share how we spend the.
I was thinking of the governor last year, the year before, had what was called Birth to Five. It was a preschool program that they were going to, and I was just hoping that came with some money.
It didn't, like, our preschool funding is $5,000, less than $5,000. So no, there's
I
no-
just did, it's like 42 or something.
yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it's never been more than 5,000, so.
Yeah.
And actually with the new configuration of, the Ohio Department of Ed and Workforce, they actually removed preschool from their jurisdiction and moved it to another, arena in the governor's platform. We continue to wait to see what impact that has.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's changing.
well, thank you. So this will become an annual report?
It will.
Unless we change it.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Superintendent's update.
Right, it is summertime. It is June 24th and ice cream. Families are gonna go get ice cream here in a few minutes, so it's, hopefully, you know, we are trying to be intentional about making sure that people take time to enjoy family and enjoy time. And so we're really excited about that, and behind the scenes, doing lots and lots of planning for this upcoming year. I spoke about some of the professional learning that happened with our building leadership teams. We are looking at the phrase lead now, to talk about leadership. And again, like I said, building trust and, achieving results. In building trust in that conversation, and you'll hear lots more about this when we come back to the start of the school year, because this is what we're going to really focus on. You know, building trust is focusing on character, competence, and connection. And when you build trust, you can really move to a place where you're achieving results. And when we talk about achieving results, we're talking about clarity, support, and accountability in a positive way. And so those, it's kind of the equation that we're talking about, and trying to, you know, support people to build those great connections, and then really be intentional about when we behave in this way, what are the outcomes that we can expect for our students? And are we getting there? And when we are great, how can we celebrate that? And when we're not, what do we do about that? And so our goals that we have, and we'll be talking more about that as we start the school year, all funneled into that work, and all funneled into this new idea of accountability. So we're excited about it, because it's clarity. So that's the work that's going on behind the scenes right now to prepare for an exciting 24-25 school year. So.
Is that lead now theme something that carries through the professional development thing that we do this year, or how does
That's
that?
why I like that too. Yeah, so we'll be talking more about what that might mean, and how, regardless of what your role here is in the district, how you can live through that lens, and provide those things wrapped around trust and achieving results to others, or experience them for yourself.
Feel excited, you know, it's like the bottom of the Lencioni kind of pyramid that addresses the 5 dysfunctions of a team, talks about building trust.
Yeah.
Which allows you to deal with conflict, and then actually get commitment, and then hold accountable, and then deliver results.
Sure.
So it's encouraging, you know, for me, as I hear you highlighting these as focus areas for, you know, our leaders to be committed around.
And we have, as you know, we've worked with, with our building administrators and our central office administrators in the past, a coach. And so that's the content that we're trying to connect with our coach and have conversations with us, and how do we utilize all the tools that we've talked about over time. And again, back to our culture blueprint, back to our vector, back to our strategic plan, how do those all connect? And how do you then live through this lens and make everybody, make all of those living documents in what we do. So, yeah.
That's
Looking
kind of
forward.
like, I'm a little bit of geek in this space, but I love the discussion around trust in the context of character, with competence and connection. Because sometimes when we have conversations on, do you trust me? It always is about character. It's like, I don't have the issue trusting your character. It's like us walking through things together helps me experience what your competence is also.
Sure.
And when you are connected with a person, it also enhances. So those three elements of it, I was excited to hear included in that, so. Very excited about what you're doing.
Would you like to update us on the, special education audit?
Yes, I am meeting on Wednesday with Hamilton County Educational Service Center. We were scheduled to meet this past week, but with, interviewing and some of the personnel, transitions, we wanted to wait just a little bit to make sure that those were all in line. And so on Wednesday, I'll be meeting with representatives from the county. And we are working on the plan for the summer months to collect information. And then early August, to begin communicating with our families and our staff about what process that audit will take. And so, we're trying to capitalize as soon as people come back into town after break to begin that process. And it will be, really, the audit is scheduled to, the duration of the audit would be from really this summer point to really the first semester. I'm thinking late November, but probably will be finished in December, where ultimately we'll be getting back recommendations for what we can do. Again, it's what are we doing that's working well? What are we doing that we can improve upon? And what are the expectations of our community within special education?
All right, thank you. At this point, the board is going to move to executive session to consider the employment of a public employee, and then we will come back and we'll adjourn, but you don't have to stick around.